I just walked out of one of the best weekends in a long time. And in it, I found more hope than I can hold. Can we talk about it? Hey, y'all. I'm Senecca, and this is Exhaled Hope, where we have real conversations about faith in the middle of the mess. No hype, no guilt, no pretending we have it all together. Just truth that leaves us with true hope. Even though our home was filled with excitement and preparation of family visiting and the possibility of making new memories, I walked into the weekend with no expectations. And that wasn't anything spiritual. It was quite the opposite. It was my protective barrier. See, I tend not to get excited about things happening, whether it's dinner plans with a friend, our next vacation, or someone coming to visit. I don't believe it's happening until I'm physically in the moment. And that prevents me from the deflating balloon of disappointment. A balloon I've seen far too many times in my life. But here's what I kept coming back to after this weekend. In Isaiah 43, God is speaking to Israel while they are still in Babylon, still in the hard place. And he makes them a promise. And he says to them, see, or behold, depending on your translation, I am doing a new thing. Then he asks, do you not perceive it? In other words, he's not just doing something new. He's saying, look up, keep your eyes open. I need you to actually see what I'm already doing. A little bit of context about this chapter. Israel was so focused on how God moved in Egypt, how he parted the sea, how he led them through the wilderness, that they kept measuring what was in front of them against what was behind them. And God said, don't do that. I'm not limited by my last move. I have better ways, new ways. Look, right there. Do you see it? I wonder sometimes if we can't perceive what God is doing because we've trained ourselves not to look. Not because we're faithless, but because we've been disappointed so many times that hope started to feel irresponsible. Like we couldn't afford it anymore. Like we have insufficient funds if balloons were the currency. So we stopped looking for the new thing, even when it was already in motion. But something for me shifted when I realized this weekend plan was actually being executed. My heart swelled with anticipation, and it prayed and hope. Hope that the memories I didn't know how to ask for would become. Hope that I'd be present in every moment. Hope that love would be seen and felt. Because that moment, that quiet swelling before anything had even happened yet, that, I believe, was a subtle grace. That is what I believe. That was subtle grace doing what it does, working underneath the surface before I even gave it permission. That's what this week is really about. It's not the big moments we plan for and post about, the ones we almost miss, the calm before the chaos, the heart praying before the mind knows what to ask for. Christ is in that moment. He is strengthening you in that moment. And most of the time, we don't even notice it because we're either looking at the past or bracing for what's next. Truthfully, I found myself in new spaces this weekend, a new dynamic, new energy, and I just felt settled. There were quiet moments, real quiet, and the quiet didn't feel strained. It didn't feel like a gap where we were all tiptoeing around. It felt like people safe enough to just be with each other. I was talking to my friend who was here about it today, and she said it better than I could have. She said, and I quote, "I felt God's love surrounding us all weekend." And that was it. That was exactly it. Those moments remind me of the peace of God that surpasses all understanding. Not all noise, but all understanding. Meaning you won't always be able to explain it. You won't have a neat theology for it. Sometimes peace just arrives, and your only job is to receive it without interrogating it. Here's where I want to land. At some point this weekend, I looked up and thought, God, if you never do anything else, you've really done enough. And yes, it is an old saying, but it is a today's truth, so stick with me. And I know that some of us are still waiting, still praying prayers that feel heavy, still asking God when and why and how much longer. And I'm not dismissing that. I've lived in that space and I still visit it. But this weekend reminded me that there are moments, quiet, ordinary, spontaneously planned moments, where God does something so personal, so specifically made for your story that all the waiting shifts. Not because the other prayers stop mattering, but because you see enough of his character to trust him with the rest. This weekend, God started a new thing. And for once, my eyes and my heart were open enough to see it. We just needed to start from today. His mercies are new every morning because that's just who he is. Every single morning, he shows up with something fresh. The question is whether we're willing to receive a new thing when we're still grieving the old ones. This weekend, I received it. And I want that for you too. So this week, I invite you to pay attention differently. Not to the big moments, to the small ones. The breath you take before the tears fall. The unexpected comfort in a new place. The heart that prays before the mind knows what to ask for. That's Christ. That's subtle grace. That's strength showing up in the ordinary. And when you notice it, don't explain it away. Don't minimize it. And don't ask it to prove itself. Just receive it. Hey, thank you for being here today. If this encouraged you, share it with someone who needs a quiet reminder that God is still moving in their story. And if Exhaled Hope has meant anything to you, do me a favor and leave a review. It means more to me than you will ever know. And with that, deuces, I'll see you next week.